I mean, let's go right into the first Ask Daru question, which is from @Phillips2 McCormick on Twitter. He asks you, Phil, how about hypertrophy and deadlifts with sauna use? Is there a good time to use the sauna? And are you familiar with this information?
As far as your hypertrophy, muscle building, any type of hypertrophic gains that you're going to attain through deadlifts, it's because you're recruiting the most motor units and muscle fibers in that one particular lift. It's a compound lift. You're using a lot of muscles to get that weight up off the floor. With sauna use, I'm not too familiar with as far as like maybe doing a deadlift and going into the sauna. I do understand hypothermic conditioning, made popularized by Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She discusses how the conditioning of the body and heat stress can induce plasma volume and blood flow to the heart and into the muscle, with also increases of testosterone and growth hormone release. So that does work. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen the studies. I like it. I have my athletes do that post strength work. So instead of having them go and sit in an ice bath where we are evidently going to be decreasing inflammation, this is what we do not want to do at that point in time, because we want to make sure that we are getting that solid inflammation to get an adaptation to that stimulus. So what I'll have them do instead is to bring their body back down to parasympathetic, to go into the sauna, get all those benefits that you get from that hypothermic conditioning that Rhonda Patrick has talked about in the past and on Joe Rogan and on plenty other podcasts. And if you check on YouTube, you can find that too. But mainly is to make sure that they're not going and doing another modality or another methodology, or in all essence, they're not going and running 5 miles after they go do my strength work, because you're trying to pull the organism in two different directions at the same time, and your body doesn't know what it's trying to accomplish at that point. So what I have them do is, just so we can negate that whole process, is to put them in a sauna for about 10 to 20 minutes, get all those benefits from the hypothermic conditioning, and then they can jumpstart the recovery process because they're in a non-cortisol state, which is a parasympathetic state. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, one question, because you talking about this, and I always wanted to ask you, why is it, and you maybe if you answer on level 2, when you're recovering, like that automatic jumping into like a ice bath, or the machines they have for that, what does it do to the body after like a workout, that it's better to do that than say just a regular slow down, cool off, stretch, and kind of end of the workout? Well, what's so beneficial, that automatic jump into cold?
I mean, all those are pretty beneficial. Obviously, just cool down, just walking, getting the body temperature down as much as you possibly can. But as far as means of anti-inflammation, we want to maintain inflammation depending on what we're trying to accomplish with the strength training, with hypertrophy training. When you're trying to attain a certain stimulus, you do not want to shunt that stimulus or stop that adaptation by anti-inflammatories like an ibuprofen or an ice bath or something like that. Studies have shown that it'll actually shunt or stop the production or the progression of strength. So that's why I try to stay my guys and girls away from that at that point in time. Now, if they're doing a conditioning session, or they're sparring, or they're doing hard grappling, where it's predominantly aerobic, then yeah, ice bath would be sufficient. But as far as trying to gain a strength adaptation or muscle gain, it actually stops the production of hypertrophy if you go into an ice bath or you do some type of anti-inflammatories. That's another reason why I don't like my guys doing or taking in any type of anti-inflammatory foods. And it's a small detailed approach, but if you ask any nutritionist, if you ask Tony Ricci, if you ask Dan Gardner, if you ask Chris Algieri, if you ask George Lockhart, whoever the guys may be, you don't want them to have high anti-inflammatory foods if you're trying to build strength and hypertrophy right after the workout.
If you are a fighter or someone who wants to start training in MMA, listen up. My name is Phil Daru. I am the head performance coach of American Top Team. I train some of the elite MMA athletes in the world, such as Dustin Poirier, King Mo Lawal, Frankie Edgar, Junior Dos Santos, Edson Barboza, and Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Going to MMA gyms or hiring a personal trainer can get extremely expensive over time. So if you want to get in shape and train using the exact program of the top MMA fighters for an affordable one-time price, check out Fight Ready in the description below.
you.